Libra, this is your turning gear week, the quiet house where you sign the real papers, the workshop where you fix the tools, and the stage where you choose who deserves a front row seat. You like fairness, peace, and elegant solutions. You like when life is a good conversation, not a shouting match. Between 22 September and 30 September 2025, the sky gives you exactly that kind of classroom. You are handed a set of precise instruments, a strong lamp, and a mirror. The instruments are logic, timelines, and clean processes. The lamp is insight that comes after patient review. The mirror is the feedback you get from partners and the public when you act with courage. The whole week feels like tightening the strings of a musical instrument before a beautiful performance. Every turn brings a clearer note. By the end of 30th September, after sunset, the music is ready to share. This message is long on purpose. It is made for your airy mind that likes to understand, and for your heart that likes to feel safe while it acts. I will tell you what is happening, what it means for your everyday life, what is wise to do, and what is better to avoid. Think of me as a guide walking next to you through a busy city at night, showing the lights and the turns and pointing to the safest, smartest path. Let us start by laying out where each planet is right now for you. Imagine your life as a 12-house neighborhood. The first house is you. The 7th house is your partner and the public. The 10th house is career and reputation. The other rooms cover home, money, learning, travel, health, and the deeper parts of life. This week, the rooms are active in a very special way. The sun stays in Virgo, which is your 12th house. The sun is not weak here, but it works behind the curtain. The sun is your gains and networks ruler. So when it moves through Virgo, it asks you to gain by cleaning, ending, donating, or preparing. The sun spends 22 to 26 September in Uttara Phalguni and then moves into Hasta on 27 September. Uttara Phalguni is the star of mature promises. It asks you to honor agreements and to renew contracts. Hasta is the star of the hand. It loves craft, proof, and skilled work. On 27 September, the sun enters the first part of Hasta, which is full of fresh initiative. Then it enters the second part of Hasta, the steady builder. This is the light over your desk while you complete careful tasks. The sun looks across the sky to Pisces, your 6th house of duty and health. So your quiet work in the 12th house directly faces your workload and routines. It is like your private office window opens to the factory floor. You read, you check, you adjust, and your team feels the effect. The moon is the fast traveler. On 22nd and 23rd September, it is also in Virgo, moving from the 3rd part of Uttara Phalguni to the 2nd part of Hasta. On 22nd September, the moon is a little hidden by the sun's glare. Feelings can be hard to read. After the evening of 23rd September, the fog clears. On 24th and 25th September, the moon moves into Libra, your 1st house, touching the last part of Chitra and then the first part of Swati. Chitra is the star of the architect. It loves design that works. Swati is the star of the wind. It loves independence and flexible movement. You feel more visible, more social, and more ready to negotiate. On 26 September, the moon enters Scorpio, your 2nd house of money and voice, and becomes debilitated. This does not mean disaster. It means your emotional body looks at money, food, and speech through a magnifying glass. It is best to speak slowly and to keep spending calm from the afternoon of the 26th through the 27th. The moon moves through the last part of Vishaka, then the 2nd part of Anuradha, and then on the 28th into Jeshta. Vishaka is the star of results. Anuradha is devotion and teamwork. Jeshta is seniority and control. You may settle a bill, close a subscription, or state a boundary in a family talk. On 29th September, the moon crosses the edge between water and fire and enters Sagittarius, your third house of effort and writing. This edge crossing is called a knot because feelings flip from deep water to action fire. It is short. Let the morning pass, and you will feel lighter. In Sagittarius, the moon first sits in the second part of Mula, the star of roots and truth, and then on 30 September, moves into the second part of Purva Ashada, the star of victory by persuasion. At this time, the moon faces Jupiter across the sky. It is like two friendly teachers smiling at each other in a classroom. This makes 29 and 30 September perfect for learning, writing, teaching, and explaining. Mars is strong in Libra all week, in Swati, the star of the wind. This is your first house. You carry a torch. Mars in the first house makes you brave. You want to move. You want progress. On 23rd September at night, Mars crosses the ecliptic southward, like an athlete stepping from the stand onto the track. Minutes later, it enters Swati properly. At the same time, the Sun and Mars hold a 30-degree distance, which is like a fresh startup spark. Mars begins in the first part of Swati, which has a Sagittarius flavor, curious and outward. Later, it moves to the second part of Swati, which has a Capricorn flavor, steady and goal-driven. Mars in Libra is hosted by Venus in Leo. This is friendly. You act with charm and with a sense of style. Mars in the first house looks to the seventh house. You see partners more clearly, and they see you more clearly too. Mars also throws a special look to Capricorn, your fourth house of home and inner foundation, where Pluto sits, and to Taurus, your eighth house of shared assets, where Uranus sits. This is like a gentle tremor that asks you to repair the base and upgrade old contracts. Mercury is the brain of the week. It stays in Virgo, your 12th house of research, sleep, and private planning. Virgo is Mercury's own sign, and also its exaltation home, where it does its best work. This means your analysis, your accounting, and your writing behind the scenes are excellent. Mercury moves through the second, third, and fourth parts of Hasta between 22 and 27 September. The second part has a Venus flavor and brings beauty and people skills to your drafts. The third part has a Mercury flavor and gives you fast learning. The fourth part has a moon flavor and softens your tone. On 28 September, Mercury enters Chitra, the first part, which carries a sun flavor. Now your private plans start to look like architecture drawings you can show. Mercury is close to the sun and is hidden by the sun's light until 30 September. When Mercury is hidden like this, people often misread small notes or they sign too soon. When Mercury becomes visible again on the 30th evening, clarity returns. Also on 30th September, in the morning, Mercury crosses the ecliptic southward, which often feels like a small switch in the mind. Give yourself a calm morning that day. Jupiter is in Gemini, your 9th house of purpose, wisdom, higher study, mentors, and distant journeys. It stays in Punarvasu, the third part, which carries an Aquarius flavor. That is a Saturn style of patience, tied with a humanitarian feeling. Jupiter looks with a special fifth look to Libra, your first house, and protects you with optimism. Jupiter looks with a seventh look to Sagittarius, your third house, which is why the moon and Jupiter facing each other on the 29th and 30th helps writing, courses, and announcements. Jupiter also looks with a ninth look to Aquarius, your fifth house, where Rahu sits. This supports creative innovation when it is guided by ethics. Venus is in Leo, your 11th house of gains, circles, and audiences. On the 22nd to 24th, it finishes Magha, the part linked to legacy and the noble posture of the heart. From 25 September at night, it moves into Purva Falguni, the first and the second part across the week. The first part has an Aries flavor and pushes fun and bold expression. The second part has a Taurus flavor and refines the taste. Venus is next to Ketu in this house. Ketu is the south node, the tail of the dragon. It is not bad. It is the monk that removes what is fake. Together, Venus and Ketu make you care more about true friends than big numbers. It is good for pruning your circles. It is good for quality over quantity. Venus in Leo is hosted by the Sun in Virgo, who is busy with cleaning. So the story is simple. You gain more by clearing stale group ties and choosing the people who share your real values. Saturn is the key worker this week. It is retrograde in Pisces, your sixth house of health, routines, jobs, and service. It stays all week in Uttara Bhadrapada, first part, which has an Aries flavor. That is about fresh discipline and firm starts. Saturn in the sixth house is like a reliable manager who helps you win against chaos. Even when retrograde, Saturn here is very good. It helps you review systems, renegotiate duties, check compliance, and slowly win across the next months. Saturn looks directly to Virgo, your 12th house, so it faces the Sun and Mercury. This makes a beautiful dance between proof and process. Saturn also looks with a special third look to Taurus, your 8th house, where Uranus sits, and with a special 10th look to Sagittarius, your 3rd house, where the moon will be on the 29th and 30th. That 10th look means get it done. It will help you finish drafts and send them on time. Rahu, the north node, is in Aquarius, your 5th house of creativity, love sparks, and children. It sits in Purva Bhadrapada, the first, then the second part through the week. This star is original and future-minded. It gives genius ideas. It also makes the heart want something unusual and fresh. Rahu faces Venus and Ketu in Leo. This is a mutual aspect. It means a conversation between what do I feel like creating and what kind of people and platforms do I want around me. It is a perfect time to move toward communities that accept your unique ideas and support your ethical standards. Ketu, as I said, is in Leo, your 11th house, in Purva Phalguni 3rd and 4th part. The 3rd part has a Mercury flavor and can bring clever networking. The 4th part has a moon flavor and can bring soft release from shallow followings. Ketu facing Rahu creates a balance line. Let your childlike curiosity lead the project, and let your wise adult self edit the guest list. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, loans, taxes, inheritances, and deep psychology. It is in Kritika, the 4th part, the star of the blade that cuts what is false. Uranus loves sudden change. In the 8th house, it wants to liberate you from old money knots and old emotional contracts. Because Mars in the 1st house looks with a special 8th look to Uranus, there is a trigger for upgrades. Because Saturn in the 6th house looks with its special 3rd look to Uranus, there is also a steady hand to channel the change. You get both the spark and the structure. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, your 6th house in Uttara Bhadrapada 1st part. Neptune likes to blur and dream. Saturn likes to draw lines. Both are together in the house of routines. This is why checklists and logs are your best friends this week. Think of Saturn as the jar and Neptune as the water. When you have a jar, the water is useful. When you have no jar, the water floods the desk. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, your 4th house of home, land, family roots, vehicles, and inner stability. It is in Uttara Ashadha, 4th part. Pluto is the planet of deep repair. It wants to remove rotten beams and replace them with steel. Mars in the 1st house looks with a special 4th look to Pluto, so there is energy to handle repairs and upgrades at home or within your internal world. This is not a cosmetic touch. It is structural. It can be cleaning a storage house. It can be starting trauma therapy. It can be updating office infrastructure. Slow and steady wins here. That is the map. Now let us weave it into a picture you can live with. Imagine a bridge with two strong pillars. One pillar is Virgo and Pisces, the line between your private house and your workroom. The other pillar is Leo and Aquarius, the line between your social circle and your creative heart. Your week stands on these pillars. Across the bridge, a cart carries Mars, your courage, sitting in your first house. Jupiter waves from your ninth house with wise advice. The moon runs back and forth, carrying messages. Uranus and Pluto sit under the bridge, fixing the foundation from below. This is the feeling. The first pillar is about proof and process. The Sun and Mercury in Virgo ask you to clean and prepare. They face Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, who manage your tasks and your health. It's like writing a manual and then using it on the shop floor. When you show proof, Neptune's fog vanishes. When you set a routine, you get free time. The second pillar is about quality and originality. Venus with Ketu in Leo asks for mature taste. It wants you to choose the right rooms, not all rooms. Rahu in Aquarius asks for bold, future ideas. This is the perfect time to focus your social energy on the people who get you, and to pour your creative fuel into the projects that really represent you. Mars in the first house gives you the engine, and is friendly with Jupiter, who blesses you from the ninth house. You feel brave, but you are not reckless. You are firm, but you are still sweet Libra in behavior. It is a beautiful blend of courage and diplomacy. There are three special moments you should mark in your heart. The first is 26 September afternoon to the next day, when the moon is in Scorpio, your second house, and sensitive. You will do best with soft speech and careful spending. The second is 29th September morning, when the moon crosses the water to fire edge into Sagittarius. Emotions flip quickly. Let the morning pass. The third is 30 September, when Mercury becomes visible again. This is when announcements, signatures, and final wordings feel more crisp. If you like numerology, notice how the dates teach a lesson. The 22nd carries the number 4, which is structure. The 23rd is 5, which is agility. The 24th is 6, which is harmony. The 25th is 7, which is insight. The 26th is 8, which is duty. The 27th is 9, which is completion. The 28th is 1, which is a fresh start. The 29th is 2, which is empathy. The 30th is 3, which is message and teaching. These numbers match the sky. You build, you move, you balance, you reflect, you work, you finish, you plan, you feel, and you speak. The big picture is simple. This week is the workshop before the show. You refine your plan, you fix your systems, you choose your people, and then you deliver your message. You improve the home base and the shared money zone quietly. You take care of your health and mind. By the 30th evening, you are ready to make decisions with calm authority. You are an air sign. You are the breeze through a warm house. You like clear agreements. You like good manners. Mars in your first house turns the breeze into a steady wind. It is not a storm. It is the kind of wind that sets a kite to a beautiful height. You feel driven to act and to fix. The key is to keep your inner judge kind. When Mars sits in the first house, impatience can show in the eyes. Smile with your eyes. Count to 3 before you reply to text messages. Give people A, B, and C options instead of a single demand. You will notice that they say yes faster when you do this. The Sun and Mercury in the 12th house pull you inward. This is not hiding. This is focused solitude. You may enjoy a few hours alone with spreadsheets, writing, or cleaning digital folders. Use noise-free time to shape strong sentences. On the 30th evening, when Mercury becomes visible, you will find the exact phrase you were looking for. Until then, treat drafts as drafts. Let them breathe. You do not need to fill the silence. The silence is your friend. The moon teaches the mood curve this week. On 22nd September, when the moon is behind sun's glare, feelings are soft and fuzzy. On the 24th and 25th, when the moon is in your first house, you feel noticed and awake. Wear the nicer shirt. Use the nicer words. On the 26th afternoon, when the moon moves into Scorpio and is weak, take care of your inner child. The child may want to spend for comfort or to make a strong statement. Hold the child's hand instead. Drink water. Watch a small comedy. If you must reply, write one sentence and leave it there. On the 29th morning, when the moon crosses into Sagittarius, you may feel sudden clarity, like stepping from a pool into sunlight. Walk, stretch your hips, and start with simple tasks. When the moon faces Jupiter later that day, and on the 30th, your mind is ready to teach and to learn. Saturn in the 6th house makes mindset simple. When in doubt, start the checklist. You will be amazed at how fear loses power when a list is in your hand. Neptune sits with Saturn, trying to blur the edges. Do not be angry at Neptune. It is the part of you that wants to feel magic at work too. Put the magic into music while you work. Put it into small rituals like a clean start to the morning or a soft close to the night. Then let Saturn do the rest. Rahu in the 5th house makes curiosity bigger. You may want to learn a new skill in a new spirit, perhaps a creative tool, or a new way of using AI, or a new dance. Let yourself try. Ketu in the 11th house makes you less hungry for claps from the crowd. You will feel happy giving your art or your work to a smaller audience who truly gets it. The best mindset line for the week is this: I am gentle in tone, I am firm in process, and I move step by step. You will feel safe and strong with this line. The office part of your life benefits the most this week. Think of the 6th house as your operations, the 10th as your public status, the 12th as your back office research, and the 1st as your leadership. The traffic between these houses is heavy, and that is good. Saturn retrograde in Pisces in your 6th house is the star worker. It likes measurable progress. It wants you to do the things that avoid crisis later. It supports you in fixing budgets, reworking contracts, clarifying job descriptions, and reviewing service standards. It is a great time to bring structure to health benefits, payment cycles, and response times. Because Saturn looks across the sky to Virgo, where the Sun and Mercury work in your 12th house, your quiet edits and your silent study help your daily operations directly. If you draft a new template or train yourself on a better tool in the 12th house, the 6th house chose the result the same week. Neptune in Pisces with Saturn will try to make you second-guess yourself. It could come in the form of dreamy coworkers who love ideas but dislike discipline. Or it could show up as your own loss of focus after a long day. Work with it kindly. Use a timer. Work in blocks. Take 5 minutes of soft eye rest, slow breathing, or a stretch break between blocks. You do not have to choose between art and order. You can have both. Mars in your 1st house pushes you to act. It is perfect for making clear requests to teams and vendors. Ask for proof. Ask for version numbers. Ask for the who, the what, and the when. Do it with grace. The most effective Mars in Libra is a sword inside a velvet glove. Also note that Mars looks with a special 4th look to your 4th house, where Pluto is doing silent construction. This means you can make choices around office space, work from home setup, hardware, and security in a more decisive way. It is also a good week to deal with files that feel heavy. Archive, compress, or delete with wisdom. The Sun as ruler of gains is in your 12th house. This means a strange but strong thing. You gain by ending or by preparing. You gain by letting go of what is not efficient. You gain by donating equipment you no longer use. You gain by paying a small cost now so that the long-term revenue stream is clean. Because the Sun enters Hasta on the 27th, Work done by the hand, spreadsheets, forms, contracts, proof builds, gets a special light. If you must announce or sign, remember that Mercury is hidden until the evening of the 30th. This is not to scare you. It is to remind you to add an extra review or to keep a clause that allows a minor change later. When Mercury becomes visible on the evening of the 30th, the path is more straight. Jupiter in your 9th house will support you with mentors, ethics, and learning. If you prepare a talk, a workshop, or a training document, Jupiter cheers. The moon faces Jupiter on the 29th and 30th, so those 2 days favor final drafts and presentation rehearsals. If you lead a team, use those days to explain the why behind a decision. People will accept it more easily. Because Venus sits with Ketu in your 11th house, social media numbers or surface-level applause can fall while real support rises. Do not panic. This is not a downtrend, it is a pruning. Like a gardener cutting a rose bush so that it blooms again, you are shaping your network so that it produces real value and joyful work. You may leave a group chat. You may end a vanity partnership. You may pick 3 allies and go deeper with them. That is wise. If you run a company or a project, watch the time period when the moon is weak in Scorpio on the 26th afternoon to 27th. Keep customer service calm. Batch returns or cancellations into clean buckets. Tighten language in emails. Keep your tone warm. Money and voice live in the same house for you. A soft tone saves money those days. By the end of the 30th, after Mercury becomes visible, you will likely feel a clean green light. This is when to send the press note, sign the vendor agreement, approve the budget, publish the white paper, or post the long-prepared article. Money this week is like tidying a cupboard before a festival. You take everything out. You keep what is good. You throw away stale items. You put the rest back in a neat line. Your gains house is Leo, and it hosts Venus with Ketu. This is the symbol for quality gains. Earnings come from work and people whose values match yours. Sales come from well-made offerings and from word of mouth inside healthy circles. Friends bring paid referrals if the friendship is true. Ketu standing with Venus brings a monk's eye. You look at money without panic and without greed. You see clearly. You let go of the network positions that cost energy or ethics. You keep the ones that feed both wallet and soul. Your expense house is Virgo, where the Sun and Mercury work. Expenses here are smart when they buy tools, healing, education, or compliance. Expenses are wasteful when they try to buy status or when they result from messy workflows. Because Saturn is looking to this house, the smart expenses win. On paper, it will look like this: a one-time spend for a better app, for a short course, for a scanner, for a tax advisor, or for better data storage. This will save you 3 times the cost in the months ahead. Shared assets and long-term debts sit in your 8th house, which hosts Uranus. Surprises can show here. A loan can change terms. A payout can come suddenly. An insurance topic may need attention. Because Mars looks with a special 8th look here, you are the one who presses for the upgrade. You cancel a poor plan. You move to a better one. Saturn's support keeps it stable. Keep buffers in your account in the last week of the month. Do not fear sudden movement. It often turns out to be liberation. Your 2nd house of personal finances is loud on 26 and 27 September because the moon is there and in a weak state. It is healthy to sit with your budget on a chair and talk like you would talk to a friend. Ask, what do you need? The budget will say, I need respect. Giving that respect is as simple as writing the real numbers, not imagined numbers, and choosing not to punish yourself for past mistakes. You can also forgive an old money story that came from family. The moon in Scorpio is about truth with compassion. Your 11th house also holds the sun as its natural ruler, but the sun is in the 12th house this week. That is why gains come from wise endings and proofs. If you sell something, Sell the result and the evidence, not the promise. If you price something, price it cleanly and give two options. This is exactly how your air sign brain works best. Numerology whispers support. The 25th carries a 7 flavor, which is insight. That night, Venus enters Purva Falguni, and many of you will feel a small shift in taste. The 26th carries an 8 flavor, which is duty. That matches the money check in a beautiful way. The 30th carries a 3 flavor, which is communication and teaching. It is the perfect evening for an invoice format change, a pricing page update, or a clean new statement about what you will and will not do for a fee. Your sign is the sign of the mirror. You understand that love is a conversation. With Mars in your first house, you speak more directly. That can feel new to people who know your old soft forms. Stay kind and stay clear. Think of yourself as a helpful coach rather than a judge. Here are 3 paths. I prefer this one because it keeps us both safe and happy. Partners, friends, and clients will appreciate it. The 7th house of partnership is Aries. It is empty now, but Mars in your first house looks at it strongly. This sets a simple rule. The way you set your boundaries this week will decide the quality of the next month of relations. If you set them with love, you will feel love. If you set them with heat, you will feel heat. The good news is that Jupiter supports you with a protective look from your 9th house. That makes you both fair and generous. It is the best version of you. The 5th and 11th house axis is bright because of Rahu and Ketu. This is the axis of romance and friendship. With Rahu in Aquarius, you could feel a draw toward people who are original, free, and a little odd. This is not a problem. It is a gift. You get to taste a new idea of love and a new idea of friendship. With Ketu next to Venus, you also feel less hunger for approval. You may leave a showy group without guilt and join a group of builders and healers. You may end a passive talk with an ex. You may help a friend in a quiet way and feel full. This is spiritual maturity, moving through your social life. Your family house and private life house also hum because Pluto is renovating in your 4th house. This is deep. Some of you may call a parent and repair an old pattern. Some of you may face a habit of cleaning the house when you are anxious, and you will replace it with a habit of 10 slow breaths. Some of you will clear a closet and with it clear a memory. Mars helps you act. Pluto makes the change stick. In relationships, this means less blaming, more responsibility. You will notice that you can say, "I need a pause," instead of pushing anger down. You will notice that your tone softens when you say it. People will trust you more because of this. The moon's weak stage in Scorpio on the 26th afternoon may trigger small misunderstandings with family or talk around money. Use simple sentences. I hear you. Let us look at the numbers together tomorrow. The Gandanta flip on the 29th morning can bring a quick change in plans with a partner or friend. Keep the morning light. By afternoon, the mood is upbeat and plans move. The best time to propose or to have a truthful talk is after 30th September sunset, when Mercury is clear again and the moon faces Jupiter. There is compassion and logic in the same house then. Health this week is about respect for sleep, clean movement, and kind self-talk. Your 6th house is the house of routines. Saturn makes it simple. Choose one habit and honor it daily. It could be a bedtime, a water target, or a 20-minute walk. The 6th house also holds Neptune, which blurs. To protect yourself from blur, use a visible tracker. A pen and paper is enough. The satisfaction of a tick mark every day is no small thing. It is proof to your brain that you are worth the care. Mars in your 1st house can heat the body. Drink more water. Cool foods and early dinners help. Gentle strength training is better than frantic cardio. Breath work with a long exhale will calm the nervous system. If you like yoga, hip openers are perfect when the moon moves into Sagittarius on the 29th and 30th. If you feel sharp while the moon is in Scorpio on the 26th and 27th, do not punish yourself for the sting. Slow the day. Be around plants if you can. They soften the inner bees. The 12th house hosts the Sun and Mercury. This is the house of rest, retreat, and the private mind. It is also the house of the subconscious. A small 10-minute journaling session at bedtime will help you sleep better because it lets the mind place the day in a box. If dreams are vivid around the 27th to 30th, write them down. You may find simple symbols and feelings that guide your plans. If there is ongoing medical treatment, Saturn in the 6th house supports checkups and long-term protocols. Neptune sitting there too shows the need to ask clear questions to doctors and to avoid self-medicating. Keep medicine labels simple and visible. The overall health message is gentle and practical. Respect your body's schedule, and it will respect your goals. Travel this week is not random. It has purpose. Jupiter in the 9th house loves learning and teaching trips. The moon facing Jupiter on the 29th and 30th is perfect for short travels to a workshop, a class, a seminar, or a speaking event. The 12th house activity supports foreign matters and visas if you deal with them. Because Mercury is hidden until the evening of the 30th, double-check tickets and addresses. Keep a digital and a printed copy of key papers. Use name tags in your luggage. Simple things will save you from silly friction. Driving and commuting are influenced by Mars in your 1st house. You may feel like overtaking. Keep your Libra calm. Reach early. On the 26th afternoon and 27th, when the moon is weak in Scorpio, start a little early and carry water and a snack. On the 30th evening, travel for work decisions or signing feels smooth. The 4th house renovations, thanks to Pluto, can also include movement of furniture, repair of car parts, or switching a home office. If you move a desk this week, choose a spot with more light and less clutter. It will affect your mind more than you think. This is the sweet part of the week for you. Jupiter in the 9th house and the moon joining the mutual look on the 29th and 30th make learning a joy. Choose a topic that blends beauty and logic, like design systems, user experience, storytelling, data visualization, or music production. Your mind will absorb it like soft soil absorbing rain. If you teach, teach with examples. If you write, write with real stories. If you speak, speak with one clear idea per paragraph. Rahu in the 5th house is a gift for inventors and artists. It wants you to play with new tools. It wants you to color outside the lines without breaking the book. It is the difference between a silly gimmick and a smart prototype. Ketu in the 11th house frees you from the pressure to please a crowd. Because Venus is with Ketu, style and elegance remain. You are like a chef who opens a small menu with perfect dishes after years of too many items. The result is joy at the table. Mercury moving from Hasta to Chitra between 27 and 28 September marks a shift from handcraft to architecture. It means after the weekend, you can draw plans, map lessons, and structure creative products. Mercury's clarity after 30 September sunset seals the plan. Numerology backs this up. The 27th carries the number 9, which is completion. That is when the sun enters Hasta and gives you a clean light. The 28th carries the number 1, which is fresh start. That is the day Mercury enters Chitra, the architect. The 30th carries the number 3, which is message. That is when the writer speaks. You are held by a rhythm made for learning and creating. What is the lesson of this week for your soul? You are the sign of balance. Your deeper karma often travels in the line between pleasing others and honoring yourself. This week teaches that true balance is not a 50-50 split. It is a series of living decisions made with integrity. Sometimes balance is saying no today, so that you can say a strong yes next month. Sometimes balance is ending a network that gives you numbers but takes away your peace. Sometimes balance is paying a cost now so that you and your team do not pay a bigger cost later. The sun in the 12th house shows the light that is not on the main stage. It is the ethical action when no one is watching. It is the quiet donation. It is the honest correction. The sun looks at Saturn in the 6th house. Saturn is the judge who loves fairness and hard work. The conversation between these two is your karma class right now. It asks, will you make your success cleaner, even if it means a humble step today? When you say yes, you break a past pattern of choosing applause over ethics. You step into a mature success that stays. Venus with Ketu in the 11th house shows the karma of the crowd. Ketu removes illusions. You learn who is your real friend. You learn which social cravings are just old habits. You learn the sweet pleasure of a smaller, truer circle. Rahu in the 5th house shows the karma of the spark. You learn that your creativity does not need to impress everyone. It only needs to be honest and alive. The result is that love, even romantic love, comes through sincerity, not performance. Pluto in the 4th house shows deep roots. Some of you will feel a pull to fix an old family pattern. Maybe you carry the role of peacemaker and you are tired. Maybe you carry the rule of be nice at any cost, and you are ready to be kind instead of nice. Mars gives courage to do the repair. Jupiter gives wisdom to do it with grace. The karma here is not to win an argument. It is to win your freedom to be yourself while still being loving. That is a high art, and you can do it. The moon's small trial on the 26th and 27th shows the karma of money stories. You might hear an old voice that says, you are bad with money, or you must spend to feel loved. Your job is to pat that voice on the head and say, thank you for trying to protect me. We use numbers and respect now. This simple statement is soul work. Finally, Mercury's return to visibility on the 30th evening is a symbol. It says that after quiet review and some inner struggle, your voice returns fresh. The karma is to speak with gentleness and precision, to say what you mean, to not use words as fog, to not use silence as control. This is the speech of a wise judge, not of a tired people-pleaser. This is your true nature. Let us gather the threads and place them as a soft scarf around your shoulders. The week between 22 and 30 September 2025 is not for drama. It is for clear hearts and clean hands. You are supported by a strong worker in the 6th house, a bright architect in the 12th house, a bold leader in your 1st house, and a wise teacher in the 9th house. You are guided to prune your social garden, to keep the roses, to upgrade the structure under your home life, and to free yourself from old shared money knots. You are encouraged to learn, to write, and to teach on the 29th and 30th. You are gently warned to go slow with money and speech on the 26th afternoon and 27th. You are lovingly reminded that after the evening of the 30th, the air clears and signatures are strong. If I were to speak to you as a friend, I would say this. This week is like sharpening a knife before cooking. It is quiet work. It saves time. It makes the meal beautiful. Choose one habit for your health and keep it daily. Choose one messy system and clean it. Choose one friendship that warms your heart and water it. Choose one ambition and set a small, clear next step. Speak with care. Give people options. Be the gentle wind that moves the ship into the right harbor. When the 30th night arrives, speak your message with confidence. The sky will nod. Remember the diagram in your mind. 2 pillars, proof and process, quality and originality. A cart that carries your courage, friendly teachers waving from the side, workers fixing foundations below. A moon that moves messages across the bridge. This is the scene. You are not alone on the bridge. The world walks with you. As you take each step, balance becomes not a pose, but a rhythm. That rhythm is your gift to the people you touch. That rhythm will draw the right work, the right money, and the right love. Breathe in, breathe out. Begin.